to just take the last 5 minutes and talk to you about the comparison with Agenda 47. What is Agenda 47? Well, according to the preamble, it's the 2024 GOP platform to make America great again. It is a forward-looking agenda that begins with 20 promises. Not going to go off on all the promises, but it's stuff like, I'll say this. The language of Agenda 47 distinguishes itself from Project 2025. Agenda 47 is a political platform, which it's okay. I mean, every political party should have a platform, but a platform is different than a roadmap. A platform is platitudes about what we're going to do and promises and pounding the table about what we believe are the big issues. But Policy 2025 is a specific playbook, a roadmap about how to dismantle the entire system and incorporate some beliefs in the rebuilding of that system and how it operates. That's not what Agenda 47 is. Agenda 47 says stuff like seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. It's not a playbook. That's a rally cry. Agenda 47 says we're going to carry out the largest deportation in American history. That's an Agenda 47 piece. But it doesn't give the specifics about the executive order, about how it's going to be accomplished. It doesn't say how we're going to use the Department of Justice to prosecute. I mean, so the difference between Agenda 47 and Project 2025 is form over substance. It's talking versus how do we do what we're trying to do. Here's another one. Agenda 47 says we're going to end inflation and make America affordable again. What kind of crap is that? It's not a plan. It's a statement. We're going to end inflation and make America affordable again. Here's a real specific one. We're going to defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and a right to keep and bear arms. You see the difference between Project 2025 and Agenda 47? Project 2025 says we're going to look at the 30 chapters stand for the 30 departments that are under the administration's executive powers. And it says it identifies each of those 30 chapters is what needs to happen in each of those departments to specifically upend and restructure how the government works. Agenda 47, again, is political grandstanding. We're going to undo DI policies. Well, wait a minute. That's interesting. That's a political statement on Agenda 47, but I seem to remember that in Project 2025, their goal is to remove DEI, the words, from every piece of policy in the federal government and every piece of federal legislation. So when we talk about the disavowal or the lack of connection between them, Agenda 47 is saying what they're going to do. Project 2025 is telling how it's going to be done.
I know a lot of you heard from Fanon Rucker and talking about Project 2025. Well, let's talk about Project 2025 and all the little pieces of it. The very first thing on Project 2025 was the destruction of the Department of Education at the federal level. Well, guess what? Ohio has already done that. Their second tenet, now vouchers for everybody, private school vouchers for everybody. Well, guess what? $1 billion this year has been spent in Ohio in private school vouchers. No accountability for charter schools or non-publics or private schools. No accountability. Well, Ohio has no accountability for any of the non-public schools. It is also suggesting that there are no protections for our children in LGBTQ situations. Ohio is moving this way already. We've had several bills that have been passed that are very discriminatory toward our LGBTQ students. We also have a bill in the House right now called House Bill 556. This is a bill that teachers and librarians could be charged with a felony and imprisoned for lending books to students that may have obscene materials in them. There's no definition of what they mean by obscene, but that is part of Project 2025. They having no Department of Education at the national level, that means that the money going to Title I to support our students with disabilities, et cetera, and poverty, that money would go behind a wall. You wouldn't see it. And they're talking about it would go directly to parents to fund private school education rather than go to the students that need assistance. That's already happening in Ohio. They want a very conservative curriculum. They want to be able to rewrite it. Guess what? Behind the wall of Department of Education and Workforce Development, they're already starting to implement the American Birthright curriculum, which comes out of the Heritage Foundation. They're already doing this. So some of the other things that 2025 will do in schools will scale back civil rights protections. That means that you can discriminate then by race and sex. It also wants to reduce eligibility for free and reduced lunch for our children. And it has a parent's bill of rights, that a parent can walk into your classroom at any time and demand that you teach X, Y, and Z, or tell you what you're going to do rather than the school district. These are some very serious concerns.
And what nobody really wants to talk about, and those of us, again, in areas of medicine that deal with end-of-life care, such as I do in the ICU, is what we're actually talking about is palliative care of a infant that has a life-ending or life-limiting disease process who is not resuscitated at the time of birth, because palliative care has been offered to that infant's parents and family and their care team, and they have elected not to resuscitate and or do any interventions to prolong the life of the infant after it's born. This is a very regulated process that happens in high-risk areas of medicine at higher echelons of care across the United States. If you look up neonatal palliative care, you will see that there are various organizations that have adopted very clear ways that you are supposed to do this. This is not something that's just done because somebody is pregnant at 40 weeks and then at 40 weeks plus one after they have the baby, they decide, no, I don't want the baby anymore. That's infanticide. That's murder. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about are processes and procedures that are in place for weeks to months prior to delivery, where it has been decided between this care team that includes maternal fetal medicine, pediatrics, neonatal intensive care, nursing, our nursing colleagues who are so involved in this type of stuff, the actual pregnant patient, their family members, if they would like, religious leaders, and other people who they depend on to make these types of decisions. This is a team that is created and formed around this patient, and they decide what's best in this situation. And so when people say, oh, they're allowing doctors to kill or let infants die in the delivery room after being born, what they're saying is that they don't think that we have a right to provide palliative care and not be forced to resuscitate neonatal patients at the beginning of life, which is the exact same thing as we could have done to us at the end of life, it would be the very same thing as somebody saying, I know you don't want to be resuscitated, but unfortunately, that's illegal. So, regardless of your wishes, we are going to intubate you. We are going to pound on your chest if your heart stops. We are going to defibrillate you. We're going to give you medications. We're going to put you through numerous dozens and dozens painful procedures just to prolong your life. And anyone who doesn't think that these are the same thing doesn't understand medicine, because these are the exact same things on two different ends of the lifespan of a human. I would also state that some people will say, well, that's very dramatic or an exaggerated example, but this is not, because the very beginning of the chapter on the Department of Health and Human Services in Project 2025, it specifically states that abortion and euthanasia are not medical care.